According to Pravda Ukraine, Ukrainian soldiers also took 30 Russian soldiers prisoner during a clash. The head of the military department Kryvyi Rih, Dnipropetrovsk, Oleksandr Vilkel announced on Telegram that Ukrainian armed forces destroyed an ammunition depot and arrested Russian servicemen near Velika Oleksandrivka, Kherson. According to Oleksandr Vilkel, the situation in Kryvyi Rih and the Kryvyi Rih region is stable and under the control of the armed forces and the Ukrainian army. The situation remains tense on the front lines, 50 kilometers from Kryvyi Rih in the Kherson region. However, the armed forces of Ukraine are conducting successful operations. Shelling with the use of multiple rocket launchers and other weapons continued. On Tuesday, April 26, shelling broke out near the settlements of Novodmitrivka, Bila Krinitsia, Mykolaiivka, Mala Shesternia, Trudoliabivka and Osokarivka, said Oleksandr Vilkel. Meanwhile, the Ukrinform news agency on April 26 reported that the Ukrainian army liberated 5 villages near Kherson. Ukrinform quoted a source of the Ukrainian Defense Ministry as saying that the Ukrainian armed forces liberated 5 villages in the Kherson region, forcing the Russian troops to retreat to the Chornobivka settlement. Since the war began February 24, the Ukrainian army has liberated more than 1,000 settlements from the control of Russian forces and is still increasing. Russian attacks have also taken place across western and central Ukraine, targeting supply lines and infrastructure as the US and its allies rush to deliver their valuables with heavy artillery, tanks and armored vehicles. Billions of dollars to help Ukraine fend off a large-scale Russian attack in the Donbass. Earlier this week, the US Secretary of Defense and Secretary of State met top Ukrainian officials in Kyiv and pledged hundreds of millions of dollars more in military aid to Ukraine. Over the past 2 weeks, the Pentagon has sped up arms shipments to Ukraine, rushing to deliver more than $1 billion worth of heavy weapons to the country in addition to other aid by sea and air. Both Russia and Ukraine are urgently seeking and mobilizing human and material resources to supplement the increasingly fierce war in Donbass. Western officials are pushing their governments for more aid to Kyiv to help the Ukrainians hold their ground against the Russian army, which it describes as outnumbered and well-equipped. Ukraine has been receiving a lot of new Western equipment, possibly even more than the weapons the Russians can transfer into the neighboring country themselves. The equipment imbalance that we saw in the early stages of the war is starting to balance out, said Dmitry Gorenberg, a Russia expert at the non-profit think tank CNA.